MMA Rants and Raves, Holloway versus Edgar for the UFC Featherweight Championship of the World. Guys, let's talk about this fight. Well, Holloway has certainly proved that he is one of the most unusual, most dangerous, most unbelievable fighter in featherweight history, and one of the most in UFC history. I mean, who in the world taunting a guy like Jose Aldo? And this guy took clean shots. Did you watch this fight? He got hit with shots that were clean, which would have put away probably any featherweight. And he was unfazed. He wasn't even rocked. What is in that guy's chin? Now, I know he avoids shots. You know, he's defensive, he makes guys miss, but then he takes shots. And I think he was doing it maybe because that his opponent was getting tired. But, you know, even when fighters get tired, they get second wins. There was power in those shots. You can hear them land, you can see them land. And, I mean, he was just eating it like a sandwich. I mean, it's just unbelievable how tough this guy is. And then you have to look at his cardio, you look at his size, his reach. I mean, he is a very unusual athlete. He hasn't really faced a high-level wrestler, as far as I can remember, a very high-level wrestler. But I can tell you one thing, he sure will be now. He's going to be facing the best wrestler he's ever faced in Frankie Edgar. And that's the big question here. Can Edgar take this guy down? Because he is going to have to take him down. You can't stand and trade with Holloway because you're going to lose. I mean, that's the bottom line. He can't be knocked out. He doesn't even get hurt. I mean, I've never seen the guy hurt. It's incredible. He's got great cardio. So what are you going to do? It's not like you could tire him out. So what is Edgar's game plan going to be? Now, here's the way I see it. I've been following Edgar for a long time, and this guy, he's taking probably punishment unlike anything I've ever seen as far as a guy fighting in a lighter weight class. And he's never been stopped. I mean, he's never been knocked out. He's never been submitted. He has ridiculous recovery time. The guy has an unbelievable heart. He may have the best heart maybe in the history of the UFC. If you see how bad he's been hurt in fights, I mean, bloodied up, battered. I mean, he just keeps coming back. He's like a zombie. But it makes you wonder, he is a human being. And he's also 36 years old as a featherweight. So the question is, how much more does he have left? I mean, he's already been out. He had an injury. How much does this guy have left? And now he's facing a guy who's pretty fresh, 26 years old. He's dominated most of his fights. Hasn't really taken much damage in his career. The only thing Edgar can really do to stop him, and credit to Edgar, to anybody, is that he has to be taken down. He has to be challenged in a ground fight. We haven't seen that yet since the McGregor fight. He has to be challenged when it comes to submissions, when it comes to ground and pound, striking on the ground, all kinds of things, and he has not been challenged there, and that's the big question. Now, we saw that Edgar's wrestling is still on point. We saw it against Yair Rodriguez. Very dominant performance by Edgar against a very talented fighter, and he did quite well. But that's the question here. Can he take Holloway down, and can he do anything on the ground with him there? Because his wrestling is relentless. So stylistically, we think it's a good fight for Edgar. The question is, can he do it? However, I just think Edgar has so much mileage on him, and he has fought so many fights. I just don't know how much is left in the tank. I mean, he's been fighting for so long and so hard, and he has so much wear. I mean, these fights were wars, and all I can say is I just think this is Holloway's time. He just looks like he's going to go on one of these runs where he's going to dominate for a long time. There's been a lot of dominant champions, like the guy you just fought, Jose Aldo, and then you have dominant champions like George St. Pierre, and he may be one of those long-reigning champions. I mean, 26 years old, and look what he just did to Jose Aldo. I mean, he did it to him twice, similar fashion. Aldo, to his credit, very tough guy, lasted a little longer, but it was a matter of time. Now, not to do MMA math, you saw the results when Edgar tried to fight Aldo. I mean, you can just see the difference there. And what's the difference? The difference is that Edgar, although he has good striking, has shown power, he doesn't have Jose Aldo's power. So you could certainly imagine if he's going to try to stand and trade with Holloway, I mean, his punches are not going to have the effect that Aldo's did, and Aldo's hardly had any effect, which is really shocking because Aldo has crazy power. And the guy even ate leg kicks, and he just, kept coming forward. He just didn't seem phased. I mean, the guy is just very tough, very durable. Unbelievably tough and durable. So I'm going to go with a prediction here. I have Holloway to win this fight. I would like to know what you think about the fight. Please leave your comments. Please subscribe. Please like up this video, and thank you for tuning in.